I'm in a private practice and I need to know, what do I do to build up to the next level? So this is a question that does come up a lot because in our group, My Private Practice Collective, we have a lot of people who are in private practice. They're either a part of a group practice or they're in a solo practice and they're getting busy, right? They're really seeing the fruits of their labor. For those of you who are watching, you're seeing the fruits of your labor, right? Like you are making money, you're getting close to that 6-figure mark, or you're already there and you're getting more referrals than you know what to do with. And you're wondering, like, what do I do next? How do I really capitalize on these referrals? So one thing that you definitely want to think about doing is adding people to your practice. So if you're a solopreneur, you're in your own space and you're about 50% full, I want you to think about bringing on somebody else for when you're not in the office, or thinking about expanding maybe into a 2-person suite. When you're 50% full, what starts to happen is that you start to get fuller faster. So your time is more limited. People may only be able to come Wednesday at 7 and you already have somebody Wednesday at 7. And if you bring on somebody who's very similar to you in terms of like clinical work, then that's going to be a really natural transition for people. You say, you know what, I'm really sorry, I don't have 7 on Wednesday, but I have this other clinician in my office. We, have very similar training. We have very similar styles, niches, however you want to say it. I would love to refer you to her, him, whoever it is. So that's like one way that you can start to, build something for yourself. It's really important to think about what you want to build. You also have the other option. Let's say you do couples counseling and you're constantly referring your couples out for individual. So maybe you bring somebody on to your office that does individual counseling so that you have somewhere to give those referrals to. And you can rent to that person. You can do a contractor situation. You can do a W-2 situation depending on your state. I know some states allow for contractors, or some states do not allow for contractors. They want you to have employees. So you want to check, with your state with that. You check with your accountant, you check with your lawyer. But building a group practice, even if it's a small group practice, can really be beneficial just in terms of referrals. People really like when they're able to call a therapist, get somebody on the phone and be, referred right then and there. We hear all the time. It happens. People have to call around looking for somebody who even has availability or accepts their insurance or, does their niche. And people don't want to have to call around. They want to be able to call one number, get in. That's kind of like one of the benefits that I see of having a group practice is that when people call, because we have a variety of niches that are all, pretty similar. I'm going to talk about my group practice in a minute and share like how that works. But I think people really want to be able to just like pick up the phone and, not have to call around. In my group practice, I really looked at a lot of things when I was bringing on people. For me, what was really important was to have a lot of diversity in terms of different things like we're in South Florida. And so I wanted to make sure that we had people who speak Spanish, people who speak Creole, people, women of color, Hispanic women. I say women because our practice is mostly women. And that's by design too, because we get mostly women that, call in call in for therapy and request women. We do have a male at each location, and they have each been added, later in the process because, people started to call for men. So we're like, let's bring, men on. But that was like a part of my vision and my plan was to have a really diverse staff so that when people called, if they didn't fit into maybe one, narrative, that we would have other people who would be able to service them. And so you have to think about what your location needs, what kind of calls that you get. I think it's really important to, if you're at this stage, you want to start tracking how many calls that you're getting in, how many people you're referring out, what people are calling for, so that way you can take it to the next step. If you're not thinking about doing a group practice, then I want you to think about doing workshops based on your niche, maybe doing corporate workshops for school, doing groups. Groups are another amazing way to diversify your services. Another way to diversify your services is to do online courses. So the thing that's pretty cool at this stage is that you can really think about like who you are, what's important to you, what you like, what your passion is, and really live this passion. Maybe you want to write a book, right? And it's going to be a New York Times bestseller. There are a lot of things that you can do at this stage. It's like the private practice is your oyster. And it's really important for you to take some time to reflect on what it is you want. So the number one step is, what do you want? I want you to comment below, whether you're watching this live on the replay or on YouTube. I want you to let us know, what do you want? What do you want as a result of building the next level of your private practice? I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, TherapyNotes. If you're looking for an electronic health record, that's really a full service electronic health record. They just introduced their telehealth. So if you are looking for somewhere where it's like a one-stop shop, you can do billing, you can do your telehealth sessions, you can do your notes, you can bill insurance, you can really have everything done right there with reminders to clients and paperwork portals. I want you to check out TherapyNotes for all of your electronic health record needs. So let's go back to the steps to building, to the next, whatever your next step is, whatever you want to do with you've already garnered a reputation. You've already gotten referrals. You've already started making money. Maybe you're having extra money. You're like, what should I do with my money? That's always like a fun place to be for those of you who are in private practice. You start to like make money. You're like, should I pay myself more? Do I want to become, certified in EMDR and a consultant, right? There's a lot of different things that you can start to do with the money that you're making and with the clout that you have built and the reputation that you have built. So I want you to think about that. Where does your heart desire, pull you? A lot of the times we start private practice, and maybe this is just me projecting onto all of you, like out of desperation, like I wanted out of my agency job. But when you go to the next step, it's not about desperation. It's about really careful planning. And it's also about getting what you want out of your private practice. So I am here for you on your journey. Send me a message and I'm happy to answer any questions that you want. Okay, everybody. See you soon.